Alright, ladies and gentlemen, so we have a new limit breaker quest. The other one is only going to be here for like another day or two, so we definitely get that done. Get to stage 14 at least so you can get the 1,000 or lower ticket. But with this one, it is the actual limit breaker quest where you're going to need like the best characters to actually have a really good clear time or stage clear. It's going to be here the 6th, and I guess we'll go over who you can use and who you can get a replacement for. So obviously right away, Quincy Mind Enemies. Who do you think that this is going to be for? This is going to be for the new end the year 1,000 or lower Ichigo. Heart attribute damage times 2, melee damage times 2, killer effect times 4. So it's no like insane killer effect like when we had like Swimsuit Bambi, so that's fine. So like thank God. There's no super restrictions either. Like it's not like forcing you to bring a attribute, which thank goodness. I think that's like the only time the limit breaker is like genuinely abysmal, when they like make the killer effect times like 12 or whatever it was, and then force you to bring one attribute. But it's fine. And then this enemies are hollow and speed. Yet again, Gremmy. Yet again, Gremmy. Okay. Sure, I guess. 5-minute time. Yeah, it's not the same one. I was like, is it the same one? But no, it's not. And then slot 3 is human enemies that are power. We don't have a speed one, so I mean, you could bring like a Uetsu. I saw some people use a Uetsu in slot 3 last time in the other one. But since that is human enemies, I'm thinking Soifun or Byakuya. You just want to bring a human killer most likely, because then you get the extra killer effect times 3. Wonder if mid-month is potentially going to be a speed human killer. I'm not too sure, but let's go to the album and let's see who we can actually bring out. Now, unfortunately, it's right before I have to leave for work, so there is going to be absolutely no editing in this. So let's see if I can make as few mistakes as possible. Mission impossible, if I'm being honest. But it's going to be Quincy, Heart characters, melee. Who do we have? So we have the new Ichigo and we have Noitora. Noitora does have an increased chance with laceration. So he could be good if you just, if you consistently proc lacerate. You could also give him like full stamina damage to lacerate enemies. He has 60% SP boost. He has 40% strong attack damage, and he's completely immune, and he has frenzy too. He could be decent, he could be decent. He has decent strong attacks. Not like the best, but he could definitely be used if this is all you have. But, obviously he's a potion farmer. He's not going to be the best, but he could be pretty good. Then obviously Ichigo, do I even have to say, like, he is just absolutely broken. He has strong attack recharge of 14%. He has the EX skill of 100% SP boost, and then on top of the regular SP 80% boost, you can get up to 360% SP boost. And then he has weakening plus really good strong attacks as well. SA1 is 3k length beam. This is a 960, but I believe because of the extra strong attack, like it's a strong attack magnification, I think it's into an 1120, I think, something like that. Either way, it does more damage. SA3 full screen, and then Soul Bomb. Then he also has the enemy defeated bonus of 20% melee damage after 20 kills, 40 kills, team party strong attack recharge of 15%, so you don't even need Soifun in the 3rd slot if you don't have her. You still will be getting the extra recharge, 60% devastation after 60 enemies, and then a whole extra special soul bomb after you defeat 80 enemies. So you can soul bomb with 2 characters, so it's probably going to be your slot 1 Ichigo and then slot 2 Gremmy if you have him. And it skills are spiritual plus 2, long stride, havoc. Like, he's going to be super fast, so you could just focus on doing more damage, giving him full stamina damage, and then damage to weakening or SP, whichever you want. And then his skills, increase strong attack damage, so 60% berserker, 60% devastation, complete status immunity, frenzy 3, increased status on chance against Quincy's, weakened defense, marauder, SP boost to 80% like this. And he also has poise break. So the big enemies you can like knock down. Like, generally the only thing he's missing is like a vortex, so that way you can keep them like trapped and they can't move anywhere. But outside of that, he is the best character in the game. Like, he is him. But let's go ahead and take off. So what are the rules again? Heart attribute damage from 2. Let's go ahead and just keep melee Quincy's. Let's see who you can potentially use. It opens up a little bit. And I think probably your best bet would be Ishin. Ishin still proved to be very effective in the latest guild quest, the Nightmare Guild quest. So I'd imagine he could still do well. The burn and lacerate is absolutely insane, and he also has weaken resistance, which is what's on the floor, so you should be completely fine. He has 50% strong attack damage. He has 60% devastation. He has rampage, where if you get a kill, you get an extra 2% damage increase per kill, up to 50 kills, so 100% rampage. He has frenzy too, and increased status summon chancing with heart attribute enemies. So that is one downside, so you're not going to have the increased chance. But I believe last time I used Ishin, it was like the same thing, and he still did relatively fine. Like, was he like the best character? I don't think so, but he was still really solid, and I only have him 1 out of 5. The Frenzy 2 and the Rampage and the 120% SP boost, along with his really solid strong tech kit, honestly, it does wonders. Then he also has weakened defense on his Soul Bomb, so, you know, if you do end up dropping your Soul Bomb, it has weakening and lacerate. It's a very powerful combo. He could definitely cook. He could definitely cook if he's the only character you have for melee Quincy. Yet again, when you're looking through the characters, that you could use Ichibei, but genuinely... Oh, there's an alarm. I gotta wake up. Oh my goodness. Genuinely, I don't think Ichibei is going to be that great. He hits like a wet noodle until he procs his gauge, and since he doesn't have all the rules in the Rigga quest, he is probably going to be very mediocre. And you're also going to have to watch out for the weakening pulls on the ground. Like, the fact that he only has 50% SP or 50% strong attack damage and Frenzy 1. Yeah, like he has to rely on the gauge too much. Not a big fan of the character nowadays. Don't recommend using him. I think you'd have a better chance with Power Yama. Granted, he is more RNG reliant, but I think he has a better strong attack kit. He has 40% strong attack damage, Sprinter +2, complete status immunity as well, Frenzy 1, damage to burning enemies of 48%, and damage to weakening enemies of 40%, and he has an 80% SP boost. Like, I think he is honestly, like, just better than Ichibei. He's just a bit more RNG dependent, but I mean, I don't know. I also think he has a better strong attack kit, so he's a bit more fun, and you don't have to worry about the status summons on the ground. And weakening and burn is a very solid strong status summon. So yeah, I would say probably go for Yamamoto. But now, who can you use instead of that? Let's go heart. Let's just go heart melee characters. Now, I don't recommend NAD characters. I remember some people saying, "Oh, can I use NAD characters?" I don't recommend it. Like this Remy or Kensei, don't really recommend it. But I feel like this character might be pretty solid. He has increased chance, or he's a Stolliper, Exterminator Killer. You know, he has Sprinter +2, weakening and lacerate, a Berserker of 20%, complete status immunity, Frenzy +2. And he also does have increased chance. So honestly, he might be like the second or third best slot. I feel like Ishin might still be better, since this Ichigo doesn't have killer. But maybe it depends on your dupe level. But he has, since he'll have the increased chance, Frenzy 2 is amazing. He has bombardment, damage to lacerated and weakening enemies of 40% and 60%. And then he has the SP boost of 80%. And he has a really good strong attack kit. SA1, 3k like beam. SA2 is like a lunge AoE around him or something. I don't know. I think it's still a good strong attack. And then the SA3 is the 2-stage charge strong attack, gets good Tensho. It's really good. It's really good. Does he have poise break? He does not. So I guess that's one thing you have to watch out for, since he won't be able to knock down the big enemies. But he's still going to be good. He's still going to be good. And then who else do they have in here? Let's see. I mean, you could probably use Bruno if you have dupes in him. Like, Bruno is still a good character. I just don't really recommend it, especially when he doesn't have all the rules. But, I mean, when he pops his gauge, he has Berserker. He gets an 100% Berserker. In base, though, he does have Sprinter 2, Long Stride, 40% Berserker, complete status immunity, Frenzy 2, Havoc. And then when you do, and then with his gauge skills, he gets an extra 50% SP. Gauge effect of 30%, and then he starts his gauge at 70%. All they need realistically is gauge rampage, but yeah, unfortunate. Definitely power crept to high heaven, but if you have dupes, I think he should be fine. And then yeah, I don't really recommend Concord Ichigo. Like, he might be decent. He's probably like a last resort. He doesn't have status summons or anything, so yeah. But let's go Heart, Quincy, and then that's okay. Yep, there's no one else. There's no one else. maybe you could just go Quincy Killer if you're really that down bad. Maybe you could go Retsu. Future Society Okiura. Did not mean to even click on him. I'm not going to go over this everybody. I do have to get going soon. I'm sorry. But like, you know, Ulk. Balgo, potentially. But he wouldn't have an increased chance. So that's unfortunate. Maybe Mind Lisa as well. She's a pretty decent option because she has paralysis and lacerate on her strong attack kit. Yeah. So if you paralyze enemies and lacerate them, maybe you can keep the big enemies in place and just keep constantly inflicting lacerate. And maybe you can clear if you have her like 5-5 or something. But yeah, that is going to be it for slot 1. Let me know down below who you are using for these slots. Now it is Hollow, Technique, Killer, Range Damage. I wonder who this is going to be. Gremmy. Gremmy is absolutely insane. He is easily the best technique character in the game. Hollow Killer Plus, 20% strong attack damage and 12% recharge. On top of that, he has the paralysis and drain. So if you do get hit in this run and you have Gremmy, you can just basically get back up to full HP immediately. And then he has the insane EX move where he gives yourself a 30% boost and the enemies a 30% debuff. I don't know if this boost applies for everyone in the team. I believe it does. I believe so, but I could be wrong. But it's a very good EX skill nonetheless. I would say you would definitely have to give him long stride, by the way. He only has a sprinter of 1, so keep that in mind. Increased strong attack damage of 70%. Complete status immunity. Increased Quincy strong attack damage. So if you are using a Quincy in slot 1 or 3, you'll be buffing them. He has Frenzy 3, so he's basically going to be proccing every single strong attack. He has Bombardment, so he's a pretty good character to use the Soul Bomb on. Increased status summon chance against Hollows. Element Reversal. Increased Quincy damage to status summon affected enemies of 30%, which also goes to him, so W. And then he has Weaken Defense, and then SP boost of 80%. And an amazing strong attack kit, SA1 Beam, SA2 Beam into Vortex, and then SA3 Full Screen. And then I believe his EX is a 960 in front of him. So, yeah, he's really good. He's really good. Really fun character. The only other character on the screen that isn't an ancient dinosaur would be Quincy Ichigo. He is a good character. He is a hollow killer, which is good. He's also a range killer with a weakening and drain. So if you do get hit, you should be fine. Sprinter 2, full stamina damage boost of 20%. And then he has Technique, Attribute, Strong Attack, Recharge in between rooms, which is really nice. Berserker of 40% and a Bruiser of 20%. He has Frenzy plus 2 and increased status summon chance against speed attribute enemies. So since he does have the increased chance, he should be quite decently consistent. He doesn't have Frenzy 3, but Frenzy 2 increased chance is good enough. Team Party increased Technique, Attribute, Character, Strong Attack damage of 20%, which is pretty good. And then an SP boost of 80%. The only thing that holds him back is kind of his mediocre Strong Attack kit. SA1, 18% shave into an SA2 beam. Isn't that great? SA3 full screen, pretty good though. But yeah, that is about it for this Ichigo. Definitely going to have some dupes on him, I assume. But let's go ahead and take off the attribute specific. Let's see who ranged hollow killers you can use. So, right off the bat, Raruka, Speed, Renewed Okiura, and then 8th Anniversary Ichigo or Nini would be all decent options. Definitely the best one, though, would probably be this Raruka. She was pretty good when she first dropped. So, Soul Trait, damage inflicted at full stamina of 30%. She has Drain on all of her strong attacks. She has the enemy defeated bonus as well. 20% Berserker after 10 kills. After 25, it's a full stam boost of 20%. And then after 50 enemies, it is Team Party, increased strong attack damage of 20%. She also has Team Party Recovery, which is pretty nice. Berserker of 40%, Devastation 60, full stam of 30. That's her Soul Trait, my bad. She does have fire resistance, and the ground looks to be paralysis, so do keep that in mind. I think that's another thing for Ichigo. I actually don't know if he's immune. I forgot. But Frenzy 2, Weaken Defense, Long Stride, SP boost to 80%. Like, she's good. She's good. Like, is she the best? No. But I think she's a really solid character, and she can definitely help you potentially get to the Wave 20, if that's what you want to go for. As for Speed Ulk, I think he's good. You know, he doesn't have an increased chance, but he's basically power 1000 above Yamamoto, except just a little bit worse. I think he has the worst SA2, I think, or something. He's like almost the exact same. except he just doesn't have the damage to weakening and damage to burn like Yamamoto. But outside of that, it's pretty much the same. SP boost, Frenzy 1, complete status immunity, Berserker 40%, Devastation 40%, and yeah, Bombardment as well. He's good. He's good. Nothing like insane nowadays, but you know, he's good. And then I'm not even going to go over these two. Like 8th Anniversary Ichigo is just kind of like a consistent character, but since he's not against technique attribute enemies, I don't know how well he's going to do. He basically only has Frenzy 3 and like a little, and I don't even think he has Berserker. But like, you know, he has Weakening and Drain. Yeah, he's like legitimate. He has full stamina 20%. That's the other multiplier he has, and then Frenzy 3. And then no SP boost, you know, so it's like last minute option. I definitely think he needs a little bit more rules to be usable. Nini as well, she has Frenzy 1, basically no damage before her gauge. She needs practically every single rule to be good in Limit Break requests, so I don't really recommend using her. They're kind of like final resorts. But let's go ahead and go back to technique and take off Hollow Killer. So we're just range technique characters. So right here, you could potentially use like Thousand Above Giselle or Shinji. Potentially like a NAD character, I guess. Like 1000 Above Aizen. It's up to you. Giselle is fine. Ichigo. Shinji is fine as well. Not really seeing. Maybe Rangiku as well. If you just consistently keep proccing Lacerate, damage over time goes pretty crazy sometimes, so you could potentially try her. Now if we just go technique Hollow Killers without range, let's see who you could potentially use. Honestly, no one. Yeah, that did not change at all. Like maybe Softly Retsu, but I still think she's a bit outdated. How about just Hollow Killer? You're gonna have a very rough time with only one rule, but if you're absolutely down bad, you could use a character like Mugetsu, Kangdu, or Thousand Above Yuha, and then that is probably about it. Best of luck on that one. Best of luck. For slot 3, it is just a human killer. Like legitimately, you just need a human killer, but since it is power enemies, I'll see if we have any speed human killers. No, these are just normal attack damage side characters, so just take off speed. Now for human killers, who could you use? 1000 Above Byakuya, 1000 Above Soifan, and then Balgo or Quincy Ichigo. I think that those are pretty decent options. Obviously Byakuya and Soifan are going to be the best. Now who would be better? Honestly, I think it's depending on just who you have more dupes of. I believe they're both completely immune. Now I will say if they have guard, which I don't think they do, but I'm just gonna mention it. If they do have guard, it would be Byakuya because Soifan does not have guard break, but she does have the team party stamina recovery and these team 20% strong attack recharge. Ichigo only has 15. I don't believe they stack, so do keep that in mind. But this will be an extra 5% recharge, so it's like maybe it'll get you that extra second for the extra strong attack to come back a little bit faster. I also think she has a pretty good EX skill, but although I do prefer Byakuya's because it's literally a barrier. So that way on human enemies, because these enemies suck, you have a bit more chance of surviving. Paralysis and weakening on all of her strong attack, including an SA2 boost to boost your entire team, which is amazing. Sprinter 2 and long stride, she's super quick. Full stamina only, reduced strong attack cooldown to 6%. 60% berserker. 20% full stand boost, paralysis resistance, but it is poison on the ground. So you're gonna have to watch out for poison. Havoc at 20%, Frenzy 2, increased chance against humans, Enhancer, Booster, and an SP boost of 80%. So she's gonna be an absolutely phenomenal character. Her EX skill, also, by the way, just like is like a huge beam across the map that sends her flying. It's pretty fun. As for Byakuya, Human Killer Plus, obviously. Paralysis and weakening in all of her strong attacks. A very insane combo, I cannot lie. Sprinter plus 2, Havoc, full stam, only increased strong attack damage of 40%. Increased strong attack damage of 60%. Complete status immunity. Frenzy plus 2, Bombardment, increased chance against humans. Team Party, increased sorry per damage to status element affected enemies of 30%. Honestly, I think this might edge the Soifan out, just because of this skill alone, so that way you can make your Ichigo do even more damage, so maybe you'll just be one-shotting the poised enemies, even at lower dupes. He has weakened defense, sharpshooter, and an SP boost of 80%, along with his EX skill, which is a 960. SA2, SA1 beam, SA3 full screen, and then an EX skill. I want to say it's a 960, but I could definitely be wrong on the magnification. But either way, very good barrier EX skill that inflicts weakening and paralysis. So yeah, that is, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty much it for this one. Like, you're probably going to need a human killer, but if you don't have a human killer, I'll just quickly go over who you could potentially use, because guess what, it's basically any character. Like, I guess if you want to get a little bit of an edge, you could use a speed character, so go for a very broken speed character like Owetsu, like Kenpachi, but he won't have increased chance. So I don't know, I feel like Owetsu is probably going to be the best case scenario here, because he just has the gauge. So honestly, I think like Owetsu might be your best case scenario. You could also potentially use the 1000 above Yachiru. She's still very, very good with her rampage ability, so she might be able to cook up. But yeah, I think it would be her, Kenny, or Owetsu, and that will probably be about it for the speed attribute enemies. So that is going to do it for the video. I'm sorry, I don't have much time, no editing. Let me know down below, who are you going to be using? Hopefully you guys enjoyed. I will probably be using Ichigo, Gremmy, and Byakuya yet again. Take care, peace out, and hope you guys have an absolutely amazing day. Bye-bye.